the labor and you praise the fascists. You kiss the hand that takes half in taxes. Faking outrage and being seen. A generation with no self-esteem. It's time to rise up and stand against them. Break the chains and finally see the vision. We're post-traumatic from a broken system. Follow me into the chaos engine. It's time to stand, it's time to fight. Don't be afraid to twist the knife. Your sacrifice to break the curse. Prepare to die, prepare to burn. Abandon hope, it's not enough. Cause all our gods abandon us. Your sacrifice to break the curse. Light the match, watch it burn. Heaven falls, the angels die. Let it burn from the start. When everything falls
Hey, what's up, everybody? Plus Rich Cotton. Yeah, I'm still here. Don't worry. I'm still kicking. Everything is great. The new job is just whooping my ass. I'm trying to get used to it, guys. I'm happy to be here. I hope this video finds you well. Hey, you know what? I'm going to start doing more short, condensed videos where I'm just kind of just try to do some brief stuff, just some stuff that I saw in the news, whatever I got an eye on lately, that kind of thing, and just try to give it to you instead of making these big meme montages with a bunch of comedy stuff added in, a bunch of crazy stuff. But let's just talk about Obama. Tulsi Gabbard is dropping the hammer on Obama. I mean, you already know no one's going to jail. No one's going to be punished for this. But, dude, what is this shit? Let's check it out.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified oversight majority staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration.
So, yeah, man, if you're new to the channel, you know, you got to hit the buttons. You got to press buttons. You got to hit the like button. No one will see this video. I only have 300-something subscribers or whatever it is. I'm brand new at this. I've only been doing it for a little while. I had to go back to work, so I don't make as many videos as I was at the beginning, but I hope that the quality will increase with the quantity going down, and hopefully I can give you guys some stuff that you like. either way, man, I need you to press the buttons. I need you to hit like. I need you to share this stuff. I need you to subscribe and do all the dumb stuff that I don't like begging for, because no one will see this. It'll just get shadow banned, ironically enough, with my name, and they'll just pretend like they want to promote everyone making their own videos, but really they don't. They have a narrative and an agenda just like everything else. Anyway, with that said, press buttons. Now, if you're new to this and you're new to the channel and how I feel about the Democrats, it's very obvious, and it's been true for a few decades, at least minimal, that they obviously accuse their opposition of everything that they're guilty of. It's this weird tactic that they do where basically if they're doing something shady, let's say they're sending guns to North Korea, okay? They will immediately launch an investigation into the Republicans for sending guns to North Korea. So in a year or two, when the Republicans somehow find power and find out that the Democrats sent guns to North Korea, when the Republicans say, "Hey, we're going to investigate the Democrats sending guns to North Korea. Can you believe this? Here's the receipts of North Korea buying the guns." And then the Democrats just immediately issue a full-scale attack, a full-court press in their fake mainstream media partners and their propaganda partners that we told you the Republicans were selling guns to North Korea. That now they're just accusing us of what they're guilty. This is them doing this. Don't investigate this. This is crazy. We should investigate them. They're the ones. We told you 2 years ago that they were. It's like so obvious now. I've been watching this. I'm in my 40s. I've been watching this stuff and been interested in politics since I was in my late teens, early 20s. And it's basically, dude, this is just I'm a level 10 noticer. I don't know if you're a noticer or not, but I notice everything. Yeah, I notice trends and patterns and things that certain groups of people, certain racial groups, certain ethnic groups have certain behavior, do certain things, and then you have a certain group of people that seems to run Hollywood and run, the financial sector in every part of the world. Certain groups, you know what I mean? Certain ones that you notice do things. I don't know. Are you a noticer? Tell me in the comments. I need to know. What level noticer are you? It was level 1 to 10. What level noticer? I like to think I'm a level 10 noticer. With that said, we already knew all this stuff about Obama. We already knew all this shit, man. So anyway, I'm gonna let Tulsi continue. I just need to break the video up so Fox doesn't whack me for just taking the entire interview and putting it on here. But let's hear what she has to say. Let's hear what Trump has to say, and let me get out of here. All right, man. This is crazy. Nothing bad will happen to Obama or Clinton, but this shit is so obvious. This is straight out of the Democrat playbook. They accuse Trump of everything that they were in the middle of doing. And then now here we are years later with the evidence that they did the shit that they accused Trump of. And now they're going to just say, this is just the Republicans trying to smear us and make us look bad because they're guilty of all these things. It's what they do, guys. It's what they do. Now, I know I was running my mouth while I was showing those documents, but those are some of the documents that Tulsi has released. Why do you think on December 8th, the intelligence community came out, published their report saying that there's been no interference from the Russians. There's been no foreign entity at all that has hacked the election, done anything with the election whatsoever at all. None of that has happened. And then the very next day, they hold a new meeting with Obama's handpicked administration and decide to launch a different investigation and create a different intelligence report on this. And then it completely went the completely opposite direction and went, oh, Trump's actually a Russian asset and he's a Russian Manchurian candidate and we can't let him be president. Really? Okay. All right. Let Tulsi cook.
I'm going to go over the key findings from the House Intelligence Report, which investigated the claims that were made by an intelligence community assessment ordered by President Obama and published in January of 2017. First, Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency. In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory. The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers.
See, that right there, I'm going to have to stop Tulsi. She has got to be lying. There's no way, there's no evidence, there is nothing suggesting that Hillary Clinton was addicted to daily tranquilizers. Dude, she's what? Say, hold on. Say what? What? There's hold on. Let me think about this for a second. There wasn't anything, was there? Was there? No.
Every day, every night, all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, there was nothing to show us that at all, not even a little bit.
Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump. Brennan and the IC misled lawmakers by referencing the debunked Steele dossier to assess quote-unquote Russia's plans and intentions, falsely suggesting that this dossier had intelligence value when he knew that it was discredited. The intelligence community excluded significant intelligence and ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence that contradicted the intelligence community assessment's key findings on Putin's alleged support for Trump. Including this intelligence reporting would have exposed the ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous. The intelligence community assessment omitted reliably sourced information, such as how some Russian intelligence officials were quote-unquote planning for candidate Hillary Clinton's victory, while others assessed neither Trump nor Clinton would respect Russia's interests. As was reflected in the ODNI documents that we released on Friday, multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th of 2016, the FBI and ODNI gave the House Intelligence Committee its first post-election classified briefing, in which there was no mention of Putin aspiring to elect Trump by either agency. The Presidential Daily Brief, drafted on December 8th of 2016, stated that no Russian or criminal actors impacted vote counts. This document was pulled just hours before it was to be published due to quote-unquote new guidance. If it had been published, it would have been briefed to both President Obama and President-elect Donald Trump. On December 9th, 2016, a National Security Council meeting was called to gather President Obama's senior national security officials, which included CIA Director Brennan, then Obama DNI James Clapper, Susan Rice, and others. Following that secret meeting, DNI Clapper's assistant sent an email to the intelligence community with the subject line, POTUS tasking on Russia election meddling, tasking ODNI leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report that we released today reveals that, quote, unlike routine intelligence community analysis, the intelligence community assessment was a high-profile product ordered by the president, President Obama. It directed senior intelligence community agency heads and created an intelligence community assessment limited to just 5 analysts using one principal drafter. This is not something that occurs in the normal path of producing an intelligence community assessment that reflects the views across the intelligence community. The production of this intelligence community assessment was subject to unusual directives directly from the president and senior political appointees, especially the former director of the CIA, John Brennan. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report also shows how later that same day, on December 9th, Brennan ordered the publication of quote-unquote substandard reporting on Russian activities, which had previously been withheld from publication of prior assessments because the information was judged, quote, to have not met long-standing publication standards. Some of the information later used in the Obama-ordered assessment over the objections of veteran CIA officers was, quote-unquote, unclear or from unknown sources. The Intelligence Committee's oversight report reveals that CIA Director Brennan overruled senior CIA officers who challenged the Obama-ordered intelligence assessment, stating, quote, we don't have direct information that Putin wanted to get Trump elected. Yet, the Obama-directed assessment was published on January 6, 2017, which explicitly stated, quote, we assess Putin and the Russian government aspired to help President-elect Trump's election chances when possible by discrediting Secretary Clinton and publicly contrasting her unfavorably to him, end of quote. The CIA and FBI, then led by John Brennan and James Comey, expressed high confidence in this judgment, while the NSA expressed moderate confidence. Yet, as the report we released today shows, the ICA, the Intelligence Community Assessment, did not cite any report where Putin indicated helping Trump win was an objective. The opposite is true.
Just like always, guys, everything the Democrats say, the opposite is true. Everything they accuse their opposition of is what they're guilty of. It's just how they do things. They take advantage of tragedies. They'll, never let a tragedy go to waste. They're just really disgusting. Now, there's a lot of Republicans that I don't like. I'm not a Republican. But these last few decades have been very brutal. Now, I know this is a little bit boring, but if you're paying attention, you notice December 8th, 2016, they released, the intelligence community released their assessment that Putin thinks Clinton is going to win. He actually had dirt on Hillary, but didn't release it because he would use it as leverage later once she was president to either release to smear her and get his way, or whatever reason he decided not to leak any dirt that he had on her because he thought she would be president. They also confirmed that he was not trying to actively get Trump elected. He thought that Hillary Clinton's presidency was, quote, inevitable. Now, with that said, if that report would have been published on December 8th, it would have been briefed to President Obama and President Trump. But they blocked it, pulled it a couple hours before it was going to be published, so Trump wouldn't get to see the intelligence community saying that Russia had nothing to do with it. Putin didn't have his money down on Trump. He had it down on Hillary. So Trump never got to see that. And then that very next day, Obama pulled all of his people in the office and said, we're going to do another one. We're going to do another intelligence report. And they used the Steele dossier to smear Trump and to connect the dots that he's a Russian agent, not them, which is what they were doing. They were doing things with the Russians. They sold the Russians uranium. They sell weapons to Russia. They deal with Russia. It's just everything they say. Everything they accuse is what they're guilty of. That's just how they do it. Now, it's very important whenever they decided that they're going to publish this, and in the beginning of January 2017, before Trump was ever inaugurated, this is what happened to the media. I want to remind you what the propaganda arm, the propaganda wing of the Democrat Party and the deep state, what they did once they stopped publishing the real intelligence report, put all of Obama's people in a room and decided only 5 people, all Obama's handpicked people, 5 of them, are going to make the intelligence report. They released it, and this is what the media did with it. Do you remember? I do.
Russia hacking the election to elect Trump is the end of our democracy. Votes were definitely affected. Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
No doubt. The Russians hacked the election.
Yes. Russia hacked the election.
Fact, Russia hacked the election.
President-elect Donald Trump still not sounding convinced that Russia hacked the election.
The president does not want to come to terms with the fact that the Russians hacked the election.
President Trump says he still wonders if the Russians hacked the election.
If you can get him to accept that Russia hacked the election, see if you can get him to accept who won the Civil War.
If he admits it, it casts a shadow on his victory over Hillary Clinton.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked
the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Let's be clear, Russia hacked the election. Definitively, Russia hacked the election, and Russia is doing it again now.
Election-related cyber hacking.
Cyber hacking of U.S. elections. Cyber hacking of the election.
Russia was cyber hacking the election.
Russia was cyber hacking the election.
The CIA, the FBI, NSA.
All of these intelligence organizations.
17 intelligence agencies.
All conclude that Russia hacked the election.
If we find out that Donald Trump just theoretically was colluding with Russia while they were hacking the election, that is completely impeachable.
This dossier alleged a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russian effort to hack the election.
The director of national intelligence, the head of the National Security Agency, the head of the FBI, all of these intelligence experts saying Russia hacked the election.
The FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, I mean, they've all said this. So to believe that that's wrong, you have to believe they're all involved in an elaborate conspiracy to get Donald Trump, which seems a little far-fetched to me.
I mean, let's keep it real here. If you are not a retarded lefty, you knew this the whole time. You didn't really necessarily have the proof. You couldn't really, connect the dots. We're just regular citizens. I'm literally in my underwear right now in my living room. Like, it's like, dude, how am I supposed to prove this to you? But we all kind of knew that something wasn't quite right. Hillary has ties to Russia. She had stuff going. She was doing business in Russia. She had stuff in Russia going on when she was Secretary of State and before. That Putin, it's just, guys, all right, I'm just going to stop there before I go down the rabbit hole. It's just, this is crazy. Nothing is going to happen to these people. Now, if nothing happens to Obama, nothing happens to Hillary, nothing happens whatsoever at all. But guys, I promise you, that's what's happening. Nothing. A whole bunch of nothing is going to happen. They're going to twist this. They're already saying that Trump is only doing this and Tulsi is doing this under Trump's direction to cover up the big conspiracy he has with the Epstein list. Dude, no one gives a shit about this Epstein list. I'm tired of hearing about it. I got to be honest, man. I'm really just look. Okay, we know you're all a bunch of weird pedophiles that are disgusting, rich, the perverts that are just the most foul humans on earth. We know it. That's what you are. We get it. It's whatever, dude. You're not going to get in trouble. You would have to investigate yourself, arrest yourself, and put yourself in your own jail, and be guarded by yourself to have consequences. So I don't see that happening. It is what it is, man. The only problem I have is Trump said he would release everything or whatever, just 7 months ago, and now he's like, why are we still talking about it? Because you didn't release anything, brother. That's why we're still talking about it. You didn't really give us what you said you were going to give us. Now, you normally come through on everything else, so I'm willing to let something like this just go because I know that Trump has nothing to do with Epstein's Island. It has not, dude. Believe me, if Trump had something to do with Epstein's Island, they would have released it. The Democrats had all the documents for 4 years while in power, while trying to put the guy in jail and just completely using lawfare and the DOJ to go after their political opponents. If he did something wrong with Epstein, they would have released it. So considering they did not, there's just 0% chance that there's something in there that Trump did wrong. So the whole covering it up and not releasing it is more so because we're involved. We're involved. The CIA and the Mossad were doing this. They were doing this to blackmail people. We were involved. That's why they won't release it, because when it really goes down the rabbit hole, yeah, it might have been Mossad. It may have been us. It may be a combination of the two. Either way, guys, we're involved. I know our government is involved when you go down a rabbit hole. I know we are. That's the shit we do. That's how we do shit. It's just they went a little. That's a little too far for me. I can't accept that. It's similar to torture with me. It depends on, it just with, there's no way raping a child is ever going to, and sex trafficking children are ever going to give us some national secrets that like we have to have. Like, I guess through blackmail it's possible, but it's just, there's better ways that we don't have to steal and rob and, just destroy the innocence of children to expand our empire and make sure that it never fails. I want our empire to expand and never fail, but not if the cost is stripping and ripping the innocence from every child in the world. No, thank you. I guess we're all gonna die in a pot. I guess boil us like frogs. I don't know what to tell you, but if that's what we got to do, let's not do it. Let's just die. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyway, all right, I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry. Let's just hear from Trump. Look, if you want to hear the whole video, you want to hear everything Tulsi said, I got the link in the description. Anything you guys see in this video, links will be in the description for sources. Go check that shit out. Please, once again, I want to remind you, hit the like button. I'm sorry I'm ranting a little bit. I'm sorry Tulsi's a little bit boring because she's being so serious, because it's a very serious matter. This is treason, guys. This is seditious conspiracy to commit treason. That's what this is. This everything they said Trump was doing, it's them. This is what they were doing, and they let January 6th happen. They helped that happen so they can have something against him. So whenever this stuff finally came out, they'd be able to go, well, he was the one trying to overthrow the government. He was trying to commit a coup. All right, man. If you don't get it by now, you never will. All right, let's hear from Trump real quick, and I'll try to button this up so I don't talk to you nonstop the whole time, man. I missed you guys, man. Whatever, fuck off.
The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold. Tulsi Gabbard, what they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
President Trump today calling out former President Obama after DNI Tulsi Gabbard sent a criminal referral to the DOJ related to her claims that Obama-era officials manufactured and politicized intelligence to create the Russia collusion narrative in 2016. Intelligence that those officials have said they had great confidence in.
John Brennan and Jim Comey and I are part of the group that were tasked by President Obama to put together all the reporting we had on the Russian interference, and which we did. And then, of course, on January 6th, we issued our intelligence community assessment documenting the Russian interference, in which we had very high confidence in the evidence that we presented.
Gabbard also teeing up that there will be more declassified documents coming this week. Ahead of that, here's what we've learned so far. December 7th, 2016, the assessment reiterated that Russia did not tamper with election infrastructure. Just one day later, the editor of that assessment canceled the brief, quote, based on new guidance. By December 9th, 2016, Obama convened National Security Council principals and ordered a new assessment. And on January 6, 2017, the new unclassified assessment was released. Obama's office today firing back, issuing the following statement. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by then-Chairman Marco Rubio. Joining me now to react is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director Gabbard, give me your response to what we heard from former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week, in the documents that we will be releasing later this week, that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment. that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day. The same assessment was made after Donald Trump was elected by the American people as president in 2016, defeating Hillary Clinton. And it wasn't until after that pulled President's Daily Brief document that you referenced that the Principals Committee was called in the National Security Council, and President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media. None of them are addressing this fact that there was a shift, a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election, that completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence in. They used intelligence that some of these intelligence community professionals rejected previously because of the lack of credibility and the lack of the ability to vet with any kind of confidence whether or not that information or intelligence was accurate and could be used for an assessment. There's a long laundry list of facts and intelligence reporting that directly contradict the statement coming from President Obama's office and those who are trying to deflect away from what actually happened, which was after Donald Trump was elected, led by President Obama, there was an effort to create a document that would serve as a foundation for what would be a years-long coup against President Trump, therefore trying to subvert the will of the American people who sent him to the White House in 2016.
If the regular people that do the intelligence assessment to find out what Russia's doing with our election and the accusations that we're swinging around, if those regular staff members, which are just the regular workers that work for the intelligence community, those people come up with a big, gigantic briefing to tell them that don't worry, the Russians had nothing to do with the election. They didn't hack it. They did not hack the election. They did not do anything. Any of their initial feelings about which way they wanted the election to go, even if they did try something, it was not effective. They changed no votes whatsoever at all. That's what was going to be released. Oh, that being released would share that with Trump and Obama's administration and whoever's incoming, which was Trump. He blocked that from being published so Trump wouldn't see it, and then said, "You guys aren't doing the intelligence briefing. Actually, I have a new directive. The 5 heads, like the 5 of the highest people that I have that I handpicked to be loyal to me are going to do the intelligence briefing, and it's 180 degrees from what the regular people said it was going to be that normally do this job." And then the media was able to take that and run with it and go to the propaganda machine and spin it up and say, all these heads of the intelligence, oh, John Brennan and this person and all these people and Sally Yates and all these top level executive people that are just in the they just know, they know what's going on. If you're going to say that you don't trust them, are you crazy? Of course we trust them. He handpicked them. Only people that are loyal to him. 5 people decided this is the story we're going to run with. They tried to discredit Trump. They tried to steal the election. Then they immediately said that's what Trump was trying to do in 2020 and in 2024. This is treason. If you can't see that, I don't know. Like, you need me. You're basically the same type of person that needs like more proof that Joe Biden was running a pay for access scheme with his family and his family name. Like, you need me to explain it. What are you talking about? Like, are you dumb? Are you a little bit retarded? Because you have to be the most naive person in the world to not understand these things. And it just, I don't know what to tell you. So Obama stopped sharing the information that it wasn't hacked with Trump, blocked everyone from the intelligence community from dealing with it, brought in 5 people basically that are his handpicked administration. They're going to do it. Then the media did this with it. And then here's the best part. And this is what I'm going to end this with. Obama, his lawyer or whoever, made a statement. And look at this statement that he says. Just look at what he says. Russia changed no votes. But look what they did with the media, the propaganda wing of the Democrat Party. What did they do with the information that Obama forced through with his directive right before Trump was taking office? They used this to impeach Trump, did they not? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is bonkers, but I bet nothing happens. I bet Obama doesn't get arrested. I bet nothing happens. Hillary's not in trouble. Nobody's in trouble. I can guarantee it. But remember, Obama put this all together with his directive, and what happened? What did the media say happened? Or did the media say what Obama's statement is? And he is responding directly to these accusations through his aide or whoever this person is through this statement. What did the media do with their report? Did they say Russia didn't change any votes? Is that what the media said for like 5 years? Is that what happened? The media told us that Trump won the election fair and square, and Russia, even no matter what Putin wanted, the media told us that they didn't change any votes. Just like Obama just responded and said they didn't change any votes. That's what the media said, right? That's what the Democrats were saying for the last 5 years, right? Okay. I'm just saying. It seems like somebody's lying and making stuff up and doing a big conspiracy. It kind of feels like that. Or is this all because Trump was at Epstein's island and he doesn't want to release the files? Is that what it is? Okay, you're retarded. Have a great day. I'm glad you guys came. I'll see you soon. I'll make another video soon. But, I was just curious if you think Obama's response to these accusations are what he said back in 2016 and what the propaganda wing of the Democrat Party said for the last, I guess 9 years now. Jesus, I don't even realize it's been that long. I keep saying 4 years. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. They've been saying Russia put Trump in the White House. They've been saying it for 10 years. And now Obama's caught red-handed. He accuses them of this being a big distraction. And then they actually say out loud that Russia didn't change any votes at all, when this is what we heard for the last 10 years.
Russia hacking the election to elect Trump is the end of our democracy. Votes were definitely affected. Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
No doubt. The Russians hacked the election.
Yes. Russia hacked the election.
Fact, Russia hacked the election.
President-elect Donald Trump still not sounding convinced that Russia hacked the election.
The president does not want to come to terms with the fact that the Russians hacked the election.
President Trump says he still wonders if the Russians hacked the election.
If you can get him to accept that Russia hacked the election, see if you can get him to accept who won the Civil War.
If he admits it, it casts a shadow on his victory over Hillary Clinton.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Let's be clear, Russia hacked the election. Definitively, Russia hacked the election, and Russia is doing it again now.
Election-related cyber hacking.
Cyber hacking of U.S. elections. Cyber hacking of the election.
Russia was cyber hacking the election.
Russia was cyber hacking the election.
The CIA, the FBI, NSA.
All of these intelligence organizations.
17 intelligence agencies.
All conclude that Russia hacked the election.
If we find out that Donald Trump just theoretically was colluding with Russia while they were hacking the election, that is completely impeachable.
This dossier alleged a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russian effort to hack the election.
The director of national intelligence, the head of the National Security Agency, the head of the FBI, all of these intelligence experts saying Russia hacked the election.
The FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, I mean, they've all said this. So to believe that that's wrong, you have to believe they're all involved in an elaborate conspiracy to get Donald Trump, which seems a little far-fetched to me.
Real quick before I sign off here, You the reason why they did that and the reason the coup did not work is because we did not fall for it. That propaganda was sent out to the world, and they needed the American people, enough American people, to say, oh my God, the Russians elected our president? Disgusting. We can't have that. I love Trump. I like Trump. I think he might do a good job, but he's also some game show host, and we've never, elected a guy that's just like some, crazy personality, some game show like tradesman who owns real estate, but he got a crazy personality and he likes going on TV and likes being crazy and wild and lavish and we a businessman, a crazy businessman. We've never elected someone like that. And oh my God, the Russians put him in place. We can't allow that. We need to get rid of them. They needed enough people to say that. That's why they launched a coup. That's why their wing of the Democrat Party and the deep state, the propaganda news, sent that out to the world to make us demand Trump be taken out of office. And the only people that fell for well, the Democrats ran with it for a while, all of them. 50% of the country ran with it for a while. But really, only those crazy people, that 20 to 30% of Democrats that are absolutely bonkers, like where that saying comes in, where conservatives think liberals are misguided but could be helped possibly, maybe in the future. And liberals feel like conservatives are evil and we should die. That's one huge difference between the two parties and the two heavy sides of both sides. Not enough people fell for it. And that's pretty much it. Not enough people fell for it. And the coup, they tried their best. It fizzled out after about a year or so. But the crazy people held on to it up until this day. I guarantee someone's still going to say Russia put Trump in the White House. And they're going to totally ignore this and say it's fake and not real. But Obama got a report saying Russia had nothing to do with it. And they nixed it and immediately launched their own thing with 7 of them in a room and nobody else. And then all of a sudden, Trump is a Manchurian candidate from Russia, and Russia elected our president, hacked it, did it, whatever, send it to the media, tell the world that Russia put our president in office. Meanwhile, Putin's sitting there laughing, thinking Hillary's about to be president, and the deep state didn't get their way, and he's laughing over there, and they're using him as a cudgel to beat us into not allowing Trump in office, and it didn't work, and it's a joke. These people should go to jail. They won't, but it is what it is, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out and watching, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. Do those things. Press the buttons. Sorry, I lost my voice. Oh well, deal with it.